Colleague, good to have you and good afternoon to you. Just perhaps give us context in terms of what exactly is the mission behind the Minister rolling out the screening campaign, and how's it looking so far?
Well, Temelo, we have walked around the correctional centre. We've seen the details basically in the measurements that they have put in place for the prisoners and the wardens to make sure that they are safe against COVID virus. But just to get a better idea, I am joined here by the Minister himself to sort of give us the details of exactly what is it that they have put in line today.
Yeah. Obviously, we had to firstly deal with the risks, and the risk will include visitation to the centers of people coming from outside. Hence, the first thing we did was to suspend visits. And with the suspension of visits, we have also suspended people bringing, for example, some other accessories for the inmates, including money. So now money can be done only through the banks or ShopRites or some of the retailers that are affiliated, which we have published. It can be done through that, because money can also be another source. We have also said that throughout the country, all our officials, when they come in for their shift, they must be screened, they must wash their hands. There is regular washing of hands, but also the centers are being disinfected, they are being sanitized, they are being cleaned from time to time. But we have also, as we have seen, used video conferencing to avoid unnecessary movements of the inmates to and from the courts, to postpone some of the matters that can be done from the centers. And we have got about 46 video conferencing across the country that enables us to do that. So these are some of the measures that are there. We have also prepared sites for isolation in case the unfortunate happen or there is a suspicion where we isolate the inmates. We also have a quarantine site in case we might end up with a positive test case of an inmate. So there are such measures that we have put in place that will enable us to be able to fight and put those measures as guided by the Department of Health and the World Health Organization.
Well, we do understand one of the wardens or the correctional officials have tested positive in the East London. Perhaps give us an update on that, and how exactly are you going to make sure that all the officials are safe and the prisoners?
Yes, she did test positive, and fortunately it was also through the screening processes that she was able to be helped and not to come into contact with the inmates. And what we have done is to ensure that whoever has come into contact with her amongst the officials, today as we speak in East London, we've got about 94 correctional officials. They are being tested through the NICD, including all the inmates in the place. They are going to be screened and tested to enable us to have a clear picture of who might have been affected, if there was any. But also because the official had the kit that she took to her mother in the village, we also said, with the help of the Eastern Cape Provincial Government, to crack the kit at home and also the mother for isolation testing, to ensure that this also does not get out of hand of not only in correctional facilities. And the Eastern Cape Provincial Government has been helping us in that regard, and today the Deputy Minister will visit the centre, and tomorrow the Premier of the Eastern Cape will do the same. And you have seen today we had the MEC here and the National Deputy Minister. It's a comprehensive fight from all government structures.
Just a quick question, last one, Minister. We just want to know, what are your concerns with regards to overcrowding and social distancing?
Yes, it is a big concern in ourselves, as we have got almost 36% percentage of overcrowding across the country. But this centre where we are is the most overcrowded centre in the whole country, with a population of about 9,000, and that will worry all of us, because we have to ensure that. That's why we call upon all the officials and whoever comes here to ensure that they comply with the guidelines and across the country, because if you look at the centers, unlike outside, social distancing is not an easy thing. Hence, we said they need to allow them during the day to at least have some kind of social distancing, to get oxygen and so forth. But those are the measures which we can only do because by its nature, a prison, people have to be quarantined or be closed or locked in a particular area. But those are some of the measures through the advices that we have received, that let's allow them for some kind of air and so forth during the day.
Thank you very much, Minister. Well, there you have it, Tumelo. Basically, all the measures that have been put in place for prisoners and wardens to be safe during COVID.
Yeah, and that's important indeed. Thank you so much, Nqobile Madlala, of course, for keeping us updated.